Boom. There you go, Lars. Kick off the stream. Your wish is my command. Welcome, everyone, to ZLS 041. I love that intro, too, man. Big props to Jeff Cross for lending me the audio of his pig cheddar and his audio skills. Very kind of you, Jeff. And yeah, I love the intro. So today, let's. I've got my little markdown file up, just jotting down some ideas of things we could do today. I actually did make some changes between the end of last stream and today, so I just wanted to show those real quick. I'm serving this already. Let's see. So I added just a border around our units to make sure we could see where one ends and the other one begins. Again, this is all very much just some boilerplate stuff, some test bed stuff. I don't think this will resemble the final graphics all that much, so I'm not going to be super intent on like fixing the appearance of some of these things. And we added this little showing and hiding our effective stats, showing and hiding our moves. Again, the UI is not complete here, but we're slowly making some strides. If we click on churn here, let's open Corbin's effective stats. We're seeing we can hasten. Our speed is being updated. Thank you, Lars. Much appreciated. Our speed is being updated. For now, we're throwing on this icon right here. So this is actually, let's take a look at the code actually, because this might be interesting. This is all stuff I did upstream. This is our aura component. So if we look at what's going on, we're pretty much just taking our types logo component that we had before, and we have a little tooltip for it that's going to point to our aura description, or aura details component. So here's where you get like the component that's appearing in that pop-up. So we're doing some things here. This is probably the relevant piece for what I wanted to try to tackle today. Right now we're showing the duration. There's durations there, but the duration doesn't change as we go. So we've got some UI now into to give us some eyes into this. I'm hoping we can resolve this on stream today. So if we go into this hasten tooltip, we can see that, well, I don't know if y'all can see. Let me make that bigger. There you go. How's that? That's a little bit better. So we can see it's got like the name, the icon that's going to represent the type of it. So this is an arcane one. I'm not completely sold on some of my type icons here too. I kind of always think of arcane as like a pink instead of an orange, but I don't know. We'll move around on that. But we can see that its effect is it's increasing Corbin speed by 300. That's being determined by a function on the aura description that we're passing into. Like this is one of the pieces we're feeding into our engine to let it know like how to operate. And we can see the duration right under there. 2 of 2 cycles remaining. And right now, no matter what happens, so let's say I hasten Zach and then Corbin re-ups, we're just going to keep hasting. But for each of these, they're always going to have a duration of 2. So that's where we're at. So we'll look to fix that first. So let's see. Let's go back to our markdown file here. Let's just we'll start with this task here, matching the duration of our auras. And if we get to this UI one, I think this one will be interesting to do as well, but we'll see if we can knock this out first. So I think the way I want to handle advancing our auras is to add it to our next turn function. So our next turn function, let's pull it up. Next turn. Move it over here. Let's make this a little smaller. I think that's good enough. The way our next turn is going to work It's acting as something of a reducer. Um, well, maybe a reducer is not quite the right word, but it's got a similar idea. We're going to pass into our next turn a battle, a random number generator, and a set of aura descriptions, and uh, that will create a new battle. So we're going from one battle, some other params, and then coming out with a new battle. Um, and this is super helpful in some ways because it's super easy to test. And it's very, very nice for thinking of these things in little building blocks. So that's kind of what we're working with. I already have some next turn function tests here. I think most of these are around speed points at the moment. Yeah, we can see standard test, testing ties. This is all just testing different edge cases of our for awarding a turn winner. And also, here's a test here for testing with a unit that has a speed aura on them. Um, and this one is being commented out for now. I think I'll just leave that. Yeah, well, I don't want to try to tackle this yet. I think I think we actually have this implemented already. Just the tests are maybe bunked. So, oh, Lars, you got to rub it in, don't you? Well, so in this scenario, I think unit tests are a really great thing to have because architecture is purposely set up so that we can just have this one little piece of functionality, make sure it's working right. So let's jump into that. I'll hide this comment. I get better at hiding comments when I'm done. All right, so we're going to call describe here, and we're going to say adjust. We want to adjust aura durations. Yeah. So let's see. Let me start. I think we'll probably just want to start with our standard test. This one's kind of, I don't think we'll need to write one quite as long as this one. This test is kind of going through several different turns and making sure each one is uh, behaving as expected. I think what we'll want to do, let's start with, let's just grab about this much, or rather this much. Use that as our starting point. This function will be challenging to unit test. Yeah, we'll see. I think we can do this all right. Um, so we'll say it. All right, let's do test. Test and it are essentially synonyms, I believe. So I like the semantics is maybe or just the aesthetics of test rather than it. So let's close this test here. We'll say test aura durations adjust. All right. So instead of our starting battle now, let's add an aura. And let me open up here. This is in our battle interface. File. Go to aura. There we go. So we'll have an aura. ID, we'll just call it test aura. Name test aura. Source ID. I don't know, we'll say 1. So this is the unit that applied the aura, the unit responsible for it. The host ID is the aura we would see it displayed on. So let's say that's on 2. Doesn't really matter. Target IDs. We'll say there's no targets for this one. This would be in the case where even though it's on one unit or applied by a different unit, it's targeting some other or some collection of others. So yeah, that's the idea there. And let's go to Um, this channel will be false. Channel's a whole other thing we'll get to eventually. But channeling is kind of like this idea of casting, like a unit's actively casting something, as opposed to they just have something that's kind of passively applied to them. So we'll get to that later though. But we'll say or description ID. Put in 1 here. I think we're going to need to add. If we look down here. Yeah, so in our other tests, we didn't have any auras declared, so we just passed in an empty object. So we'll need to add an aura description in here as well. So we'll get to that though. Starting power, remaining power, not going to worry about that yet. Source snapshot, not going to worry about that yet. Those are things that would affect like a dot like our burn. Maybe we'll get to that later because we're definitely doing burn already and want to make sure that's behaving as expected. And so the idea for starting power and remaining power is when burn's first applied, it would have this. I think it's the number is 30, just like an arbitrary number at this point. But we'll say over the course of this aura, you'll that unit will be receiving 30 30 damage magnitude, and the remaining power will be tracking to see how much is left after it's all done. So this next turn is a reducer. Any side effects? No, no side effects. We are only creating a new battle from this. No side effects. So yeah, essentially a reducer. That's the idea. Yep. So let's go to next. We want to define the duration. So type is going to be cycle. I think I've just explained the difference between a cycle and a turn-based duration type before. But we'll say starting duration is 3, remaining duration is 3. We'll say that so this aura will be as if it's just applied. So yeah, I think that's all we need for our battle. Everything else I think is about appropriate. So yeah, inside of our next turn here, pass in our starting battle as our battle. Random number generator. Where did we define this? I think this is in like the before each. Okay, so we're always just going to, normally we'd roll, generate's going to call math.random and give us a random number. So we can control this. We're just going to have a little just mock always give us about halfway through. So that's the goal there. Order descriptions we'll need to add. So here we pointed to an order description of 1. So here we'll add that 1. And we'll need to create an order description here, just to test one. Let's open up. I think it's probably in here. Oh yeah, right there. Our order description. So we'll just fill out this information. 1. Stacking behavior. Restart. This will be a whole other thing, is figuring out what to do if an aura is reapplied. As we can see here, if an aura with the same source and host is reapplied right now, we're just kind of like letting as many instances of it go on at a time. I think we'll probably want to define these in different ways. So that's kind of the idea here. So maybe we'll figure out how to make this work. Let's add another one here. Separate instances. So those will kind of be our 3 options for the different stacking behavior. I don't even know. Let's take a look at our hasten move real quick. I just want to make sure we define this properly. I don't think we even did. Oh no, this is the move description. And here's the order description. Yeah, so the stacking behavior here is restarting. Oh, well, I lost everything because I refreshed, and that's the power of NX. But you'll see if I hasten. This is really not behaving as intended. It should kind of take our our old aura and just restart it. So rather than having 3 hastens on each unit, there should just be 1, but it should have like a fresh duration. Um, or rather, the duration should refresh each time it gets reapplied. So, anyways, we'll fix that later. For now, we're just trying to make sure things progress. So we've got one. Let's go back to our creating our test order description here. Stack limit we actually won't need because it won't stack. Description, a test description. Maybe took a look at the description for our hasten later, but the description is essentially where that increasing Zach speed by 300 is coming from. So yeah, for the test, we'll just have that return a dummy, or not a dummy string, but just a simple string. Types. And this will just be, we'll just say this goes to normal, similar scenario. For any one of these, I don't think we need to, for all of these, I think for purposes of our test, just making sure the duration is advancing, we won't need any of these. We will need an aura creation function though. Let's take a look at hasten really quick. Well, actually we won't because the aura's already been applied. I think we can just have stub out an aura creation function to as aura. I think that works. I never know how this works. I think it likes that. It doesn't really matter what this one's doing, but we're just having something here to pass our type checking. And yeah, I think this gets us most of the way there. Let me actually declare this outside because I have a feeling we're going to actually want to call next turn a couple of times. So let me copy this. Actually need it only up to here. I'm going to say constant or descriptions. What's that? For my other or descriptions. I did need the other break brace. Oh well. There we go. Now for our order descriptions, we'll just get rid of this. It'll be easier. Does it not like this? Or descriptions? What doesn't it like about this? Type. Property 1 is incompatible with index signature. Interesting. Let's see. When we did this, let's go back to our next turn function. And we'll see. Or descriptions should be ID is string. This should work, I would think. Let me just copy this over. Come on now. Copy. And we'll say TypeScript, let us know where we're going wrong. Oops. Okay. I guess TypeScript was just mad, and when we let it know what was the deal, figured it out. There we go. Alrighty. So that's our test, I think. All the setup for our test. Right now, well, let's see. It should fail. We'll see the speed points should still get adjusted. I almost want to like turn those off, but I guess for now, we'll leave it. Let's say our auras, we're going to want to copy this over. Copy auras, paste it in. I don't know. So having 3 units is actually going to make this kind of maybe a little bit complicated. But if we went with 4, That'll give us some nice decimals. Let's just do this. Copy, paste. We're going to add a fourth unit. Speed is 400. So use record, string, or description. Yeah. Well, record, would that work? No, I was just saying use record, string, or description. I really like the dictionary ones that NGRX has. But record, so record, if you pass it a string, well, let's see if that works. Record, string, and or description. Yeah, that works. I was thinking, Lars, usually I don't use record unless there's like an actual union type here that I actually want to make sure um, every string from that union type is represented. So, but yeah, I guess it works here. I've never actually used it like this before, but cool. Thank you. uh, so there we go. Let's see. Got to add our fourth unit here. Grab it like so. Dump it over here. It's actually going to like throw off all of our speed point calculations, but that's okay. So this will be less than 300, 400 less. Negative 700. I think that works, right? I guess we'll find out when we run the test. It'll let us know if that number is right or not. And then for our aura, so here we want to say there are 4 units on the board. So we want it to make sure after next turn is called that the remaining duration of this one aura is exactly the same as before in everything except for the remaining duration. So here we'll want to see a 2.75. So 1/4 of a cycle. And a cycle is equal to the number of turns equal to how many live units are on the board. So in this case, we have 4. So we should see a remaining duration decrease by 1/4, 2.75. Hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. Turn winner. We should make the turn winner number 4. At this point, I think that will work. We'll find out where we've done some wrong stuff here, though. Let's go. Let's use NX. Let's use NX. The NX console. Run test on our engine, and let's throw on watch. Where's watch? Let's run that. I'm going to grab this just in case we want to use it. Oh, did I grab it? I'm not sure if I grabbed it or not. All right, we failed our test. Let's find out where. All right, we failed it in only the way we expected it to fail. So that's great. So everything else worked, it looks like, except for the remaining duration. And remember, we haven't actually touched the implementation for anything yet. We've just written our test. So now we can see we expected the remaining duration to be 2.75. It's still 3. That's consistent with what we're seeing with where like our aura duration just doesn't go down. So let's go into next turn and we'll see if we can implement this. And it's been a while since I've been in next turn. Let's do this. I'm going to clear out most of these tabs. I'm going to hang on to the spec file. And so we can focus on our next turn a little bit. Let me make things a bit smaller. Go. Oh, probably most of that test output was hit by that comment, wasn't it? Oh well. Let's show it again real quick for the stream. So we can see just ran our test, and the test we just wrote failed in this way. Where we expected a 3, where we expected a 2.75, we got a 3. You can see up here, expected is in green, red is received. So we still got a 3 for our remaining duration. So that's the piece we'll have to fix here. So let's see. Right now, what are we doing? We're getting our effective stats for all of our units. This is a dictionary of unit IDs to stats. We're determining our next speed points. We're determining our new turn winner ID. Let's see. I think we're gonna. Before we even start, maybe I can simplify some of these into smaller functions, so this is easier to read too. I think this is okay, really. I do want to adjust this one. Let's say we'll just declare this at the top of this function. We'll create a new function. Determine next turn winner ID. So return a string. Just grab everything from here. Copy, paste, return. And then down here, we'll say, just call that function we created. Determine next winner ID. Very good. Let's save on that. We should see things. It's nice to have this is essentially a refactor at this point. I'm kind of taking advantage of the test running to make sure we're not breaking anything else while doing this. So only the one test is still failing and the one we expected to fail. So we're still good. We're still good on that. Let's call this function create units. And we'll just take this here. Copy, paste, and turn that. Create units copy. So that's still working. In terms of the implementation for this too, I'm using JSON stringify and then JSON parse. And that's just because I know that for these objects, it's all data. There's nothing non-serializable in here. So leveraging that to make well, this is probably the easiest way to make a copy or a deep copy of something when that's the case. So doing that, we're advancing, we're taking that copy and we're advancing everything with our next speed points. That looks right. So that's the unit part of it. Now let's say, well, let's do this. We'll after determining speed points. This will be a battle. This is equal to what our return statement has for now. And we'll want to take something, we want to create a new function here. I'm almost debating, so what we want is to do something like return advance aura durations. It's going to take a battle. It's going to take, oops. Yeah. Probably just needs the battle, I'm thinking, actually. Like, we don't need to know anything about aura descriptions in here. We might if we were going to try to call like an on aura complete. But I don't think we'll do that yet. Let's just try doing this with the battle. And for now, we'll just export this here, or no, actually not export this, but we'll say function advance or durations. Oh, and I'll want to pass in actually the after determining. Yep. Advance or durations. Some battle. This is battle, returns a new battle. Okay. Okay, doesn't like it yet because we're not there yet. That's cool. All right, so what we're going to want to do, let's start by just returning that battle. Make sure everything still passes. Yeah, still passes in the way we expect and fails in the way we expect. Let's just see. I think we'll want to start. We'll say constant units on board. And we'll say this is equal to battle.units. So this is giving us an object right now. So we'll say object.values. Filter. We're going to filter out to only live units. So unit such that unit dot is alive. And we'll just make this equal to the length. There we go. So that's our number of units on board. And then we'll say here, constant new auras. We'll say this is equal to battle.auras map. So we're going to map each aura. I think we could just start by spreading that aura. So the aura is pure data again. So the aura object will include pure data, whereas the aura description is going to include the functionality. So it's fine to just spread our aura here. And I think just for the duration, we're going to only want to adjust that. Say this is aura.duration. However, the remaining duration, it's troublesome that this isn't giving me autocomplete, but we'll see. Maybe somewhere I may be making a mistake here, but we'll say that this is equal to aura dot duration dot remaining duration minus 1 over units on board. I think, let's try saving this. I think this could get us to where all of our tests pass. No, it doesn't. Let's see why that is. Still getting our 3 here. Return battle. Next turn. Taking our... A lens would do you good for that code. What do you mean a lens, Lars? Let me know. I'm not familiar with what you mean. But let's see. Advance or durations. Give us new. So give us a new battle. I'm blanking. Oh, because we're still returning the old battle. Of course. Let's do return everything of our battle. However, for auras, we're going to return our new auras. There we go. Let's try that. Functional programming lenses. I'll have to look this up. I'm not familiar with that. Let's see. Remaining duration is... Oh, all of our other tests are now... Well, not all of the other tests. A do test is now failing. Because... So this is not the test we're looking at. That test actually passed, which is great. But an old one is now failing because we're advancing the duration now, and it's not yet expecting it to advance the duration. Let's just adjust our test. So I believe it was this one testing with the speed aura. So we'll need to go back to our speed aura. Let's grab everything about this real quick. Paste. Remaining duration. Now we should see everything pass, I believe. No. Oh. Oh, well, this is actually showing us some good stuff about, yeah, this one's definitely taking multiple turns through everything. Let's see. Let's see if we can actually use this test as a way. Let's see if we can fix all instances of this aura here. And it's going to get weird here too with some decimals, I believe. Look up shades later. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Thanks, Lars. um, let's grab that aura, put it in here. Let's see. We'll just add this. No, copy, paste. We'll see it fail in the next one. Paste. Oops. I'll make sure I got all of it. It's going to be, this is actually exposing something probably want to address, where something's that close to zero, maybe we need to, I'm pretty sure it's going to give us, yeah, some ridiculously small number. Okay, whatever. We'll put it in there for now. That's kind of lame, but I don't know. Some threshold will say maybe it'll just round it down to zero. But after this one, we should see. We'll use this as our test. We should see no more auras in our auras array. So let's get rid of these two. So I believe what we'll see is this test failing now because we're not actually removing it. Duration is 1. What's that about? Let's see. This is on line 408. Did I miss one? Yeah, I totally missed one. All right. This one is supposed to be this. Copy, go back up to line 408. Paste. It's supposed to be that one. This one should now be empty for our auras. Let's get rid of that. There we go. If this fails in the way we expect now. Yes. So it went down to a negative number instead of just clearing itself out. So we'll add that to our. Oh, thanks, Lars. Let's make this a little bit bigger. There you go. Let's jump into our next turn function again. So as this test pointed out, we're getting to a point now where if a aura goes negative, if it's less than 0, we'll want to remove it. So we already have our advanced aura durations here. I think what we'll want to do is create a new function aside from that function. Remove expired auras. Battle, new battle. And what this will do is it'll return our battle, but our auras will be, call this new auras. We'll find that up here. Constant new auras is equal to battle dot auras dot filter aura dot duration dot remaining duration is greater than 0. And we can maybe put something to do, maybe filter out ridiculously short remaining durations. I don't know. I'll still have to think about that. But yeah, nothing about our output has changed here yet because we're going to want to take this next step after applying advancing our aura durations. So let's just do, we could just go like this and say, what do we call it? Remove. Yeah. Remove expired auras. Remove expired auras. A bit hard to read though. Let's make sure that fails. That, not that it fails, but it succeeds. Oh, it's not succeeding. Um. Oh, it's not succeeding because I still expect in the test for it to be affecting that unit's speed points. Um, but the aura is gone. It looks like, because the only difference is the speed points. Uh, let's look to. Well, first let's clean up this, and then we'll adjust that. So we'll say constant after advancing aura durations equals advanced aura durations. Return move expired auras after advancing. Oh. This would fail in the same way. Let's go back to our test now and see if we can adjust those. So if we look at the line number, is that 457? This is going to kind of cascade through everything. So I think the speed buff was increasing unit 1 speed. Who was it on? Go to our aura. Host ID was 1. Okay. So it was adjusting this. Make this a little bit smaller so I can sketch it all in one go. So here we expected. We'll just go with what's the expected output was here. And we'll move down to our next test. Our speed points for unit 1 should have increased by 300. So this would be 260. Is that right? Speed points for this unit would have been reduced by 600 all told. So this would be 370, I want to say. And this one should have increased by 300, which should give us 170. Is that right? Let's see. See if we get to the next step or if my math was wrong. Hey, Brandon. How's it going, sir? Doing some reducer-like functions to advance our duration lengths. That's what's happening right now. My math was off here. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So I needed to subtract this by 600. Just did my math wrong in my head. To get us to the next step, save on that. I think that should get us there. All greens. Look at that, Brandon, just in time. It's in time for me to notice your comment. But yeah, I think now we are, as a result of fixing that test, we've now proved that we are adjusting our speed points accordingly. We are advancing our durations as expected, and now removing auras, as well as that auras effect. That's also kind of being tested here because our speed points is being adjusted with all this stuff. I don't know what that is, Lars. What is this icon you're sending me? Let's see if we can actually see this plan. So we're still serving the app. We're going to have Corbin. Let's have Corbin hasten himself so we can see. Should have increased by 400. Looks good. And if we look at the duration, the duration is now adjusting itself. So as before, we would just see 2 out of 2 cycles remaining. Now it has 1.5 out of 2 cycles remaining. And also, if we look at our turn list here, yeah, we can sort of see the effect of Corbin's speed buff. So Corbin, you'll see he has a whole bunch of turns for like 4 turns in a row here. I think that's for how long that speed buff will essentially work. So each cycle is like 2 turns. That the math kind of works out. But after those 2 turns are up, we go back to just Zach Corbin, Zach Corbin, Zach Corbin. So I think things are looking pretty good here. Dream team. Okay. Is that like Among Us thing? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, cool. I think we did it. Let's see. I want to make sure the stacking is working well too. I think I will say that's something else though, because that won't really be affected by our next turn function. I wanted to be laser focused on that for here. Let's go back to our markdown file. I think we hit everything, but let's just make sure. Add to our add next turn function. Make sure it still works with create turn list. Yeah, I think that we checked this out in the browser. It seems to work. So yeah, I'm sufficiently happy with this. Let's mark this as done. Still got about 15 minutes on the stream. Let's see what else we can do. So one thing that, and this was something I did last night with our auras. So if I have, let's see, I think I can make Zach burn Corbin real quick. So burn is going to apply this aura. And if you look at the description here, it's saying Zach will deal between 2,625 to 4,875 more damage to Corbin over the next 2.5 cycles. So what this was doing is kind of predicting. It was actually running the same function we use to actually damage our unit, but we were passing in like a random number generator that returned 0 and a random number generator that returned 1. So that's kind of the way we got our minimum and then our maximum damage for how much damage could still be done over the next cycles. So and this should adjust. Unfortunately, it's going to kill Corbin if we go any further. Let's see if we can just like set the go to burn move, just set the power down a good bit, restart. Hopefully we should see. I want to actually make sure that that's adjusting itself. So inside of our burn or description, we'll want to do starting power. Let's just put it down to 10 for now. Again, this is just like arbitrary numbers at the moment, so I'm not breaking anything by doing this. But this should give us enough so we could see like that. Oh, of course, this would break. Yeah, we'll fix that later. It's not a very good test if it breaks there. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Jury's still out. Let's turn. We'll just have Corbin burn Zach. He's doing so little damage, I think, with that now that it's being completely overwritten by our recovery that the unit's getting each turn. Let me try burning Corbin with Zach. So this would give us a type advantage, so we should actually see it. Yeah, so we can see here Corbin's burn to Zach is ineffective because Zach is fire, and fire is weak against fire. Fire, on the other hand, is strong against dark. So that's part of the reason why it's hurting Corbin so much more. But we could see, I think we could see, if I were to just call Hasten now, Hasten will just kind of do some stuff. Yeah, the estimated damage I think is going down here. Yeah, 875 to maybe not 875 to 1625. Let's see if we hasten again. Will that? No, it's not adjusting itself. Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's see if we can fix that. The duration is adjusting at least. That's good. That's all code I put here in Burn's description. Let's see. I probably want to move this into a utility at some point down the line because I think we'll want to reuse this a lot. Um, but yeah, let's see. I don't know what this line is even doing. Should it be doing anything? So we're getting our aura description, our source, our host, determining effective stats, lowest. Here we go. Okay. So lowest, and it should take as attacking types, blah blah blah, power, or dot remaining power. It's almost like this is the remaining power is not adjusting. Ah, that's a thing. Let's see if we can adjust that in our next turn here. Because I think we'll want to do that right here where we advance or durations. We'll want to also advance the power, the remaining power of our duration. So we'll say here, so we should say, well, so that's duration. I think power, if we look at remaining power, so this should be equal to aura. Well, first, it's possible it won't exist. So let's look at aura dot remaining power, and aura dot remaining power minus 1 over units on board. This is going to be some tricky math, I think. I'll probably want to make sure I have some unit tests set up for this too. But I think so. Let's say there's 2 units on board, like the case we have with Zach and Corbin. So we'd want to take a remaining power. And we're going to want to reduce it in a way that's proportional to how many total cycles it had originally. So this is, yeah, this is going to get complicated, but I think my brain can manage it. So we want like 1 x of a cycle times total, what was it, aura dot starting power, yeah, divided by aura dot duration dot starting duration. I think that's right. So in the case where burn was 30, had a starting power of 30, and its starting duration was 3. That means it's kind of doing 10 power each cycle. We'll want to multiply that by the inverse of the units on the board. I think that's right. Let's see. Let's do like so. Burning a punching bag is still failing. Oh, just because we've adjusted those 2 things. That's fine. I'll adjust that later. But let's see now if I burn. Let's just churn. We'll burn Zach. So he is doing 146 to 271. We'll just hasten every other turn from now on and see. Yeah, that's going down. 117 to 217. Yep. Boom. And it should run out right about the time. Yeah. There we go. I think that was pretty cool. I don't know if that translated well on stream, but the description now correctly predicted how much damage the unit would take over time. So that was pretty cool. I don't know. I need some better UI things around that to make sure it's all coming through. But I want to take the same sort of idea. So if I look at our burn move description, I took this. I think I can like take this functionality and turn it into a function, really, because I determined our highest potential damage and our lowest potential damage. Just by running the same damage function, our engine's going to actually run to determine how hard something should hit. And then I took this highest and our lowest, and I put it into the description right here. So not like I'm doing anything magical here. I just think it's leveraging the architecture we have from our engine, where it exposes these functions as like standalone things, so we can take advantage of some of that stuff. I want to take the same idea and kind of bring it to a. Well, let's see if we can just kind of move this into a function. Let's see. We got 5 minutes. Let's see if we can do something here. Maybe we can just try to get this into a function that's exported, and we won't actually consume this on the UI side yet. But we'll say we'll call this predict damage function ts. We'll say interface predicted damage, lowest number, highest is a number. We'll say create, or what it was called, predict damage. We'll take some stuff. We'll call it our interface predict damage params. Let's leave that empty for now, but predict damage params should return predicted. I'm doing something wrong here. Oh, I need to export function predict damage. There we go. So let's get this on the left-hand side. Let's take burn over here and put it on the right-hand side and see if we can sort of like factor out some of this logic into here. So we'll say, I think we could probably just look at what we actually need from these different things. So we need like, we really just need all the different params for damage here. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Let's think. Let's just walk through them. So we'll say attack stat is a number. Defense stat, the number. Attacking types is, well, it's just a type array. Should we bring in the right type here? And we'll say attacking unit types. It's another type array. Oops. Defending types. Another type array. And we won't actually pass in the random number generator because we'll want to define that differently for our highest and our lowest. We'll pass in a spread function. That's going to return a number. Well, that will take some RNG, so random number generator, and return a number. And our power should just be a number as well. Okay. So based on these things, we'll say, I think we can kind of just copy and paste a lot of this over here. And let's expand this down to, oops. Did I go too far? No, right there. Copy and paste. I have to resolve these squigglies But then we should be able to return lowest and highest. Lars, I feel like you're just sending me all these different suggestions on here. Yeah, time's up, but I'm gonna try to get this function working first, and yeah, let's go first because this one's annoying me. Let's just fix this one test on our burn here. We just adjusted the total damage burn does. What's the line number on this? 75. Is there a 75? I don't know. Let's just search for remaining power. Remaining power. N. That fix everything. And we'll make a spec file for this. There we go. Predict damage. Move it over to the right hand side. We'll make a new spec file here. Predict damage dot function dot spec dot ts. So we'll describe predict damage and test looping damage. All right. So let's see. We'll pass in some basic stuff. So we'll say constant params is a predict damage params. We'll need to export these interfaces. Tried to be fancy, it bit me. It still worked. We'll say this is equal to stat 10. Fence stat is 10. Copy some of these. Life a little easier. Tracking types, we'll just say we'll make all of our types just normal. Normal. No semicolons. Spread function. We'll just put in standard spread here. That got imported. Yeah. And our power we'll say is 10. Just to run this real quick, I'm just going to have constant result is a predicted damage lowest 0 highest 0. I'm just gonna let like just run this for us. And so kind of like using a snapshot but doing it manually. What doesn't it like about this? It doesn't like that I'm not importing them yet. Let's import them. Predicted damage. Predicted damage params from dot slash predict. Troublesome. Predict. Past tense in here. There you go. All right. So we'll say this is not just the result. This is our expected result. Our actual result is equal to predict damage with our params. We'll expect result to equal expected. So the first time this will fail. Oh, it's gonna fail because nothing's gonna work. But we'll kind of use a snapshot once this is all fixed. Um, so yeah, we'll go here, remove a lot of this stuff, damage. A lot of this stuff we can just sort of do structure out. Attack stat, defense types, defense stat, attacking types, attacking unit types, spread function, and power. Structure all the things. I think for the most part, we'll just go like so. Boom. Attacking types. Boom. Unit types. Boom. Boom. Okay. Random number generator. We're going to want to pass in this. For our spread, we'll want to pass in our spread function with that as well. And power. So, okay. And then inside of our highest here, we'll pretty much do the same thing. We just copy over from here. The only thing is we're going to want to adjust our generate functions here. So rather than 0, they should return 1. Boom. Doesn't like this right now. What doesn't it like? Damage is not assignable to type number. So it should return predicted damage. Huh. Oh. So this is damage, and we'll need, yes. So this is not just a number at the moment, it's an object. So call this highest damage object. Call this lowage damage object. And here we'll say lowest is lowest damage object dot damage actually done. Highest is highest damage object dot damage done. Nope, not damage blocked. Yeah. Turn this way. Yeah, I won't complain about that. Ah! Accidental paste. All right, there we go. Test suite failed to run. What's going on? Is that still predict damage? There's something wrong here? I think this is all right. Let's press A to run them all again. Predict damage. Okay. Here we go. So like we said, we're just going to do a snapshot here. That math go for us. It'd be better if we actually figured out what this was, but I'm going to go. Yeah, paste messed it up. Yeah, I think we're good now, though. So cool. Got that in here. Let's adjust our move or burn dot move inside of our description here, because there's a lot of functionality to put in, like sort of this one off. So instead of doing like this, we'll call predict damage. We'll pass in let me actually keep this stuff around. Just leave it like that for now. So we'll say constant lowest, structure out lowest and highest equals predict damage. Want to pass in pretty much the same stuff as here. Just we'll want to ignore this random generator. The spread is going to change a little bit. Spread function. So here, I'm actually determining what the spread is before sending it to damage. For our thing here, we're actually just going to pass in standard spread. Better anyways. And we'll just grab the power from right here. Copy, paste. This is doesn't like it for now because we're double declaring our lowest and our highest. But let's get rid of that. And um, lowest and highest are now just numbers. We'll run that. I think we should be good. And we did actually get to use this on a move, but now that we have the predict damage function, we should be able to just use this for any old move inside of its description. Or I don't know how that will work. We'll have to kind of think through that. The idea is though, like if I'm in my battle here, I hit churn. I want to do like Firehammer. So Firehammer should work by immediately doing damage. I want to kind of have it so if I hover over someone, something will happen where it will tell me, okay, this is the amount of damage you can expect this to do. Um, and yeah, don't know exactly how that would look like yet. Maybe some pop up or something appearing next to it's like to the user's cursor. Um, could show up. I don't know. I'm still thinking that part through, but yeah, uh, it shouldn't be that hard to do now that we've got this predict damage function exported from our engine now. So great, y'all. Let's just go down and mark this kind of done. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what we'll do tomorrow, but pretty pleased with what all we were able to get accomplished today. Thanks for everyone for hanging out. Lars for keeping me on my toes and sending me some stuff. I'll have to check out Shades later. Figure what's going on with functional programming lenses, but should be educational, I imagine. Thanks all for coming. Tomorrow we'll be doing more Hands of Ascension stuff. Not sure what exactly we'll hit yet, but we'll figure it out. It'll be fun. And thanks all for showing up today. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.